And here it is. Now it can look a little bit intimidating the first time, but it's actually laid out very logically once you know where to look. Down the left, you've got the sidebar. So that's a list of all your drives and volumes. You can hide the sidebar by clicking here. And there's also an option for switching between showing only volumes or all devices, which we're going to check out shortly. In here, within the toolbar, we're going to come to these buttons later on in the video as we need them. Although lots of these are available if you right-click on the volume in the sidebar as well. And the main area here on the right shows you the details of whatever is selected in the sidebar. And if I come up here to the View menu, you'll see that we can switch here as well between only volumes or all devices. You can use Command 1 and Command 2 to switch between those as well. I'm going to select all devices, and you can see the contents of our sidebar are just a little bit different now. Let's not run though before we can walk. I'm going to press Command 1 to just switch it back. And we'll take a look at what I've got set up here. So first of all, it's actually split up into a couple of different sections here. We've got internal drives at the top, which can be collapsed or expanded. And then below that, any external drives connected will appear. Now, this is the part that trips people up. You open up Disk Utility, you look at the sidebar, and you see the words Macintosh HD 3 or 4 times over. And it might make you think, have I got duplicates? Is there something wrong? That's not the case at all. They're not duplicates. They're different pieces of the same system, and each one has a job. This top one, marked volumes, is really just the group. It's like the container that's holding the rest. This grayed out one is your system volume, and it holds macOS itself. It's sealed and it's read-only. Apple locks it down so nothing can tamper with the operating system. That's a security feature, and it's why you can't write to it. This one, marked snapshot, is a point-in-time copy your Mac actually starts up from. And this one, Macintosh HD data, is the one that's really yours. All your files, applications, photos, settings, they all live here. When your Mac talks about your storage, this is mostly what it means. Now down under external, you can see my drives. This one's called Electra, which is my working drive. And this is my Time Machine backup as well. Your own externals are going to show up here the same way whenever you plug them in. Now I'm going to press Command and 2 to switch the view to show all devices. And now above the volumes, we can see the actual physical drive itself. And this thing here, the container, which is the wrapper that holds those volumes we just looked at. This is the full picture that the everyday view was politely hiding. Same down here for my drive, which is called Electra. We can see it's an external Samsung SSD. And that's the whole idea in a nutshell. We've got a physical drive that holds a container which holds our volumes. So it goes drive, container, volumes. Once that nesting clicks into place, the sidebar isn't scary anymore. It's just a tidy little hierarchy. Okay, let's take a look at what we can see on the right now. So this bar is your storage at a glance, and there's a table below with some more information. If I click on this container, you can see how the data is split between 5 volumes. And we know it's 5 volumes because it says so up here in the top right-hand corner. Now, what is this information down here? Capacity available and used, of course, are the headline numbers you need for how storage is used on that volume. So type, here it's an APFS container, the wrapper that holds your volumes rather than a single volume or the whole physical disk. Then physical stores are the actual hardware underneath. So APFS keeps the volumes you see separate from the real disk. And this line points back to the physical drive that's doing the work. Disk 0S2 here. The connection is how the drive's attached to your Mac. So this internal drive says Apple Fabric, which is Apple's fast internal connection. An external would typically say USB. And then device is the system's own short name for the drive, like disk 3. You're rarely going to need it, but it's what your Mac uses behind the scenes. And as I click down, you'll see the values change on each different volume. Down here, we have my external drive, and it looks very similar. It's a 1 terabyte drive, we can see. And of course, it's got less volumes in there, just the 2. Now, I use this for my Time Machine backups as well. Not very many though, and I've got quite a lot of free space available here. Now, it's very similar to the internal drives, but there is a big difference, which is this button here on the right. This is the eject button. And what this does is it prepares your drive to be safely unplugged and removed. Now, this shouldn't be confused with this mount and unmount button here. When I unmount a drive, watch what happens. It grays out in the sidebar. Now, the drive's still physically plugged in, but your Mac has set it aside, so it's not available to use until I decide to mount it again. You can also get to the mount, unmount, and eject buttons by right-clicking here. Whilst we are right-clicking, it makes sense to take a look at some of these other options. So if we look at the information, this opens up in a separate window, and it lists everything that Disk Utility knows about it, every technical detail in one place. Most of us will never need it really, but if you're ever troubleshooting or someone asks you for a specific detail about a drive, this is where to find it. You can also get there by clicking on this button in the top right.